Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the latest episode of Rick and Morty Salute Your Morts. Let's see. Salute Your Morts. Yes, this was a decent episode. It pretty much went on the lines of, hey, what if everybody was acting like an asshole? And running with that kind of concept. Rick is the only one that isn't as much of an asshole in this. However, he does turn the principal dude into a carrot, so... yeah, compared to, like, other things kind of going on, this is just, like, dealing with the assholishness that kind of goes on with Morty and Summer, and also the assholishness from their parents as well, what kind of goes on. So, they've evidently been, like, running amok at school, pretty much getting, like, power trips because their grandpa bails them out in a lot of situations. However, they also bail their grandpa out of a lot of kind of crazy-ass situations, so getting their ego kind of inflated by all this stuff that they're able to have from Rick kind of makes sense. So it goes on a little bit of a more kind of escalation kind of thing because they screwing around at school, giving this kind of like nostalgia kind of thing where you just relive moments and shit like that, and people are doing it pretty much sexually. They have a boomer frequency muting kind of thing that they utilize, and they're just shouting and everything. But then, of course, Rick shows up. They're kind of pissed off at the whole kind of thing. He is like, I'm doing my shit, and then turns the dude into the carrot, and then turns him back, and he's like, before this is over, Jerry, I'm turning you into a carrot. And, of course, that's a kind of thing that kind of goes on that we get back to at the kind of like stinger at the end. So his whole thing is to pretty much take them to a rich camp. A rich person's camp where they like send their troubled kids and everything like that. They're acting like a bunch of assholes. Morty constantly kicking the seat, and he actually then takes out all of the kind of parts that have been installed in like Morty and Summer, so that way they're just like, all right, kicked him out. It's like, oh yeah, welcome to the camp, and the kids pretty much took over, and it's just like a rave thing 24/7. And the thing is, you can't stop because they'll kill you if you do. We even have this one chick that like has this fart baby, and they want Morty and Summer to fucking just like give it beer and shit like that. And they're like, fuck this shit, fuck this shit. They escape and they get into the town, but then they learn that like, oh yeah, it's rich kids that have taken over the camp. Let's go get those motherfuckers. It's like, ah, shit. And then they try and like pretty much take them and ransom them, but the rich parents are assholes too, so they're like, oh, whatever. And it's funny because they're like, this should have been like easy peasy lemon squeezy kind of shit. While this is going on, we see that they're like, oh yeah, Beth and Jerry are like, the kids aren't home. Let's get high. It's like, oh, okay, you say that you're like the responsible ones and like take care of your own actions, and they just immediately go into Summer's room, find this thing, and Rick's kind of downstairs like, hey, you guys want to do something? It's like, all right, fine. And they leave him out of it, but they smoke this thing that's like high forever, and they're just like really high and don't know how to kind of come down, so they pretty much do a search for like the galaxy to see where there's a thing to kind of like get off of this, because they're like, are we going to be high forever? And Rick's still like, what the fuck's kind of going on up there? We're fine. And seeing like Jerry being like, oh shit. Beth kind of like scrunching like a worm on her back on the floor. So they pretty much call a space Uber, and this dude's like, all right, oh, he'll be here in like 3 seconds, and gets him in, and he's able to kind of like change his insides, which was kind of interesting, to kind of like a limo, but then they kind of fuck his ass up going out in like a kind of moonroof, but they're in fucking outer space, so it's like, oh yeah, you high assholes. And they crash land into pretty much this giant kind of mall, supermarket, Costco, Sam's Club planet kind of thing, and pretty much have shenanigans of trying to get this like come down drug. However, they have to buzz an associate. However, the entire planet is one, so the associate is like on the other side of the planet and is taking a bus like, fuck this shit, breaks into it, tries to utilize it. However, it's for those that have 2 hearts. So they attempt to get in contact with Rick, and Rick's like, you fucking left me out. And of course, he got the high thing too, and they're trying to go throughout this whole thing. And I could understand people getting kind of like annoyed with it. I wasn't laughing at the complete thing, but it was pretty funny that he made a portal that just went to the same place that they were at, and they're like, did we go through? Before they eventually are able to get the right ones to link back up with Morty and Summer as they're tied up in this container. They're able to get released, and we get kind of an interesting, funny action scenario where Rick is still high, but he's like still utilizing the tech inside of his body to take out the motherfuckers, because even though he's not in the right frame of mind, his body's kind of tech is, so it's taking everybody out, like fucking puking shit on them. Everything is like, well, that's some nasty, interesting kind of stuff. As they're pretty much able to take out everybody. The campers work with Rick and work with Morty and Summer to kind of take everything over, and they pretty much kill pretty much all the people, except for the ones like, I surrender, I surrender. Fucking Rick, like, going into the lake and shit like that before they're like, get picked up by Space Beth, and just trying to figure out what's kind of going on, as they're like, oh, fuck, man, that's just kind of nuts. It's like, oh, they did High Forever? So she was the one that supplied the drugs to Summer. Then, of course, the end stinger at the end is Jerry's working on a pitch, and we see that Rick's outside just pointing at him. He's like, turn me into a carrot out of you, fuck, pretty much. And then he still doesn't get turned into a carrot at the end, but it's still pretty, at least funny to see him, like, freaking out about it. So this was an interesting kind of one, mainly on just an escalation kind of point of, like, everybody's kind of acting like an asshole and then getting into a situation like, oh, fucking shit. Because since they weren't accepting the consequences of their actions or thinking through their actions, them being put into a 24/7 rave worked at least a little bit before they're like, I kind of don't want to rave anymore. It's like, it just goes to show that you have to do stuff in moderation. Partying all the time and doing stupid shit all the time gets fucking old after a while. I mean, also doing boring ass shit all the time gets boring as well. But it's like, you gotta kind of balance that shit, my friend. And I know they played it more that Rick kind of gets them more out of the situations than they get him out of. However, he usually puts them in the situations that he then is obligated to get them out of. So it went a little bit of a stretch on that kind of front, but not that much, because I could see them getting ego tripped of, like, because Rick's like, you didn't make the tech. You're not the smartest motherfucker in the universe. I am. And it's like, yeah, if they were the ones kind of doing this stuff and getting the tech and everything, that would be a different kind of manner. However, they're not. So I overall had fun with this one. It'll be interesting to see where the season finale goes and what the spinoff President Curtis kind of does as well. So, yeah. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.